Hi everyone, I'm Alex York. We are at Founders Forum. I'm here with Harry Gestetner of Fanfix. He is the co-founder and co-CEO. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to talk about Fanfix and the creator economy in general. Walk me through your decision to enter this space in the first place. What led you to found this company?
Yeah, it was very much by accident. I had zero background in creator economy. Essentially saw my cousin blowing up on TikTok, and he got tens of millions of views. He got tons of followers. He had a comment section full of fans, but he couldn't make any money. And my partner and I were quite shocked, and we did some research, saw that creators were really struggling to monetize. The top tier of creators had access to brand deals, but the vast majority of the long tail couldn't monetize. So we thought there had to be a better way to connect creators directly with their most loyal fans to monetize. Did some research and saw there were two big platforms in the space, but none were kind of serving Gen Z, and so we saw a big gap in the market and launched Fanfix.
And how exactly does Fanfix function today? What are the services and offerings that you provide users?
Yeah, so Fanfix is a monetization platform for Gen Z content creators. I think we see being a creator as a two-part problem. The first part is distribution, and TikTok did an amazing job of TikTok democratized celebrity, gave a lot of creators a lot of distribution, and then the second part is monetization. Mm-hmm. So Fanfix is the platform for monetization. So we are a clean, brand-friendly, mainstream, Gen Z first, mobile first, TikTok first, exclusive content platform. So creators can make membership clubs for their fans. Fans can pay to DM directly with their favorite creator. Fans can buy follow backs from their favorite creator. So really, we see ourselves as the monetization layer for the creator economy.
Totally. You are a Gen Z yourself, as am I. What about our generation made you interested in having them as your customer and ecosystem base?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of misconceptions about Gen Z. I think Gen Z are digital natives who actually really see through ads and really value authenticity. I think there are a lot of misnomers about how we're sort of screenagers in our iPads. I think the main thing that Gen Z really values is authenticity, and I think there's a huge proportion of Gen Z that aspires to be a creator when they grow up. So we think being a creator in 10 years will be just as valid, lucrative, and viable a career path as being a lawyer or a banker or a doctor.
Definitely. What are some of the biggest differences when it comes to both social media users and consumers in general between the Gen Z audience and other generations?
Yeah, I think the main thing is, number one, authenticity. Mm-hmm. So Gen Z, we sort of our sixth sense is kind of clicking X off an ad. We can sniff out inauthenticity from a mile away. I think number two, data. I think Gen Z is a lot more cautious about data and privacy than previous generations. And then I think number three, just kind of awareness. We've grown up with this awareness of everything that's going on in the world, complete unfiltered access through various social media platforms. So I think we're a much more aware generation than any of the ones before.
What are the most popular either content types or forms or types of content creators on Fanfix? Who is doing the best? What types of industries or kind of niches?
Yeah, so TikTok first creators with a kind of cross-channel following. So good signs of big community are kind of big Snapchats, big Instagram following, as well as just the TikTok as well. So generally TikTokers with vast communities.
And does it matter what type of content they create when it comes to their usage of Fanfix?
No, very agnostic. And I think for us, it's just about, it's not about the type of content, it's not about the size of following, it's about the depth of the following.
Totally. Fanfix was also recently acquired. What led you to those conversations? Was this something that you anticipated from the moment that you started the company, or how did that really come about?
Yeah, I think we built the company knowing that at some point we would want to sell it, and I think that as an entrepreneur, that's your end goal. Didn't think it would happen so quickly. It was 10 months from launch to exit, and we were in fundraising talks, and one of the parties we were talking to was a big strategic, Extraordinary, and then they gave us an acquisition offer, and my partner and I were 21-year-old college students. We were like, why not? We'll take it.
Yeah. And why did you think that was the right decision, both for you as a co-founder and the company itself?
Yeah, I think for the company itself, having a very large conglomerate, especially one with kind of such an expertise in e-commerce, and such kind of an expertise on the Asian social commerce market is extremely powerful and gives us resources that no other platform can have, and we're able to offer our creators an ecosystem that no other company, no other competitor can offer. I think as a founder, obviously it's kind of the end goal of starting a business is getting acquired, and I think it was a representation that we were creating value for our creators, so it was very rewarding.
Definitely. How has your role then changed pre-acquisition to where you guys are, how you're working with Superordinary now?
Yeah, my role has largely stayed the same. I think the main thing that has changed is gone from being young 20-year-old, 21-year-old kids sort of creating fun stuff with our friends to now we're operating a proper company and have a lot of employees to kind of take care of. So I think there's a lot more of we really feel a sense of responsibility now.
Yeah. Who are your biggest competitors, and what are you doing to really differentiate yourself?
Yeah, the two biggest competitors as such would be Patreon and OnlyFans. I think let's start with the latter. OnlyFans is quite dirty connotations of the platform. There's a huge amount of explicit content, and obviously they allow nudity, etc. And then Patreon is really targeting a much older generation of creator. It's a desktop first platform, sort of for the millennial type creator. Fanfix is it's brand friendly, it's clean, it's mainstream, and then also it's mobile first, it's TikTok first, and Gen Z first as well.
What has the growth looked like in terms of bringing creators onto the platform? Has it been a hard sell to them? Are they eager to join the ecosystem that you're creating?
Yeah, so we've grown to thousands of creators and $60 million in revenue very, very quickly and entirely organically. The network effects of creators, it's unbelievable. We see this market as we call it C2C. There was B2B, B2C, and then this new market of C2C, created customer, is incredible because with creators you don't have the cold start problem, you don't have the chicken and egg problem. They almost kind of are the chicken and the egg at the same time. So growing entirely organically, very quickly, and for the vast majority of our creators, it's their number one form of revenue.
Okay, wow, that's very exciting. What would be, in your opinion, the biggest challenge that you have faced or the biggest risk that you're looking out for in the creator economy right now?
Yeah, I think the major problem with the creator economy, the existential threat of the creator economy, the thing that, whether they admit it or not, keeps every creator economy found up at night is the fact that you're operating in a space where there are trillion-dollar players who aren't here to mess around. They want to crush startups, and they're not pro-competition. So I think the biggest worry is having players like Meta, players like ByteDance try and end small creators economy startups like us.
How have you gone about navigating those concerns?
Yeah, I think we focus on our own business, and I think we focus on putting creators first. So my thesis has been for a long time that the last generation of $100 billion company was the companies that put creators last, and I think and they were distribution platforms. I think the next $100 billion companies are going to be monetization platforms that put creators first. So we just focus on providing as much value as we can for our creators and putting creators first.
Definitely. So you're from London, you live in LA now, we're in New York currently. Yeah. What would you say are the biggest differences when it comes to the creator market, both from the creator side of things and the viewer side of things?
From the UK to the US,
yeah.
I'd say just first of all the scale. The scale in the US is just so much bigger. I mean, you're talking about 330 million plus people versus 70 million people. I think there's also a level of cynicism in the UK. In the US, it's all about optimism and the American dream, and I think that reflects with the creators here. And I think creators are a lot more likely and a lot more willing to kind of try new things, and so are fans, and so are kind of investors. So I think America is the place for the creator economy, and I'm a strong believer in the American dream.
What are some of your expectations or goals for Fanfix moving forward the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, we want to be the biggest platform in the world. I think our immediate target is we want to pay $1 billion out to creators by 2027, and then past that, $10 billion plus. So I think, as I said earlier, I think that the last generation of companies got away with putting creators last. I think the next generation of really massive companies in the space are going to be putting creators first.
Yeah, and where are you in that goal right now? How much have you put out to creators today?
Be at $100 million by kind of beginning of next year.
Okay, super exciting. The last question I have for you is, as a young founder and as a member of Gen Z, what do you think is the biggest misconception that the world has about our generation or young people today?
About our generation, I think with our generation, we've grown up completely aware of everything that's going on. I think our parents' generation really was able to grow up quite sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had that luxury, so I think that's made us. It's hardened us as a generation, for better or for worse, and it's made us kind of much more aware and really sort of much more passionate about social issues. And I'm very bullish on Gen Z. I think I'm very excited to see what our generation has to come.
Cool, so am I. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.